Last week's episode was a bit so I think it's time to get this series back on track to what it's supposed to be, which is what this week's episode is about. So, yes, like I've said in a few videos, past couple of weeks been very busy, and outside of a few videos that I'm quite proud of, I'd probably say the last couple of weeks of content have been a bit rushed, if I'm being kind to myself. What this week's episode is about: staying on track. Mentioned a few weeks ago in an episode about setting goals and the importance of striving towards them and achieving them. So this week is going to be all about staying on track with those goals, because it's very easy to say, oh, this is my goal and I really want to do this, but then not everyone gives you advice on how to stick to it. So I'm going to attempt to do that. Don't know how good the advice will be, but we'll try. If you set yourself a goal, no matter what it is, big or small, hard or easy, but especially if it's hard, you will run into times where staying on track to achieve that goal and doing what you know needs to be done to stay on track to that goal gets really difficult, or maybe something's changed and you're in a different maybe state of mind than when you set the goal, and something doesn't feel right, and then your brain starts to justify to yourself the reasons that maybe you could slip up and maybe be less pushy on yourself about getting it done. And a lot of people, when that kicks in, will abandon the goal that they set. Of course there are times that maybe your circumstances do change and you have to change the goal that you set. You can't, it's not feasible to go after it anymore. But there are also times where, like I said, your brain tries to justify things. I'm rambling, but basically what I'm trying to say is, when you set a goal, you will run into times where something's changed in your life, or something's different than it was than whenever you started when you set the goal, and your brain will try to tell you that because of these changes you should try to wiggle out of what you said, unless there's absolutely no alternative, and you will know when that is the case, probably. You have to push past, you have to push through and keep on track to the goal, keep doing the things that you set out to do to achieve that goal, and I can almost guarantee you the time will come again where it comes full circle and you will feel right at home going after that goal again. Kind of like how ZeusWeusFilm started making content for it, and then because I was quite busy over the past couple of weeks, that content slipped, and getting back into the flow of making the content to at least the same quality I was at the start has been weird. My brain's tried to tell me, well, maybe you shouldn't do that, or maybe you should swap that video out, or maybe stop that series. You have to push through it. It's the only way. Do I know what I'm talking about? No. But I'm going to make it sound like I do anyway.